California does know how to party. The Golden State Warriors are trading for Chris Paul. Chris Paul going to Golden State for Jordan Poole, a 2030 first-round pick, and a second-rounder in 2027. So Chris Paul was recently traded to the Wizards in the Bradley Beal deal that went from Phoenix to D.C. He doesn't even, ink's not even dry on that, and now he's flipped from D.C. to Golden State. Chris Paul with the Golden State Warriors, Jordan Poole now gone. Here are my immediate questions. Number one, what does this mean for Draymond Green? Draymond Green had opted out of his contract, Perloff. Obviously, he and Poole had friction because of the punch from preseason. On Jordan Poole's side, can you imagine? You're the one who gets punched in the face, and then you're the one who gets traded away. Doesn't seem fair. Poole was a bloated contract. What does this mean for Draymond coming back? That's number one. Number two question I have off of this is we're reacting in real time. Do you now think differently about whether or not the Warriors can rip off another title? Does Chris Paul do anything to change how you think about the Warriors and the extended dynasty?
Yeah, I mean, listen, if you play the Lakers and you can't handle the Lakers size, and then if you'd advance past them, you would face the Nuggets, you can't handle that size. Why do we add a 38-year-old 5'11 guard? What are you talking about? He has no impact whatsoever. I don't understand this at all. Where's he even going to play?
What do you mean?
He's a backup point guard?
He's probably going to be like a yes, maybe he's backup point guard for most of the year because you want to save his minutes and you want to make sure he's fresh. And then if you're talking about crunch time, closing time in a playoff game, I bet Chris Paul's on the floor.
Well, if it really that situation, I'll bet you Chris Paul's on the bench in street clothes because that's the history of his entire career.
But if you could keep
if you're looking for postseason success, that's how I don't understand it. They need size desperately. I'm almost like, wait, are they going to move Chris Paul again? Because you have Steph Curry. You had Jordan. I don't know. I don't get it. And also, he's not a three-point shooter. He's more of a mid-range guy, which might be an interesting compliment to Steph. But obviously, this is not. There's got to be more coming for the Warriors, or they have no chance of getting out of the West.
There might be more coming. It's possible, but I mean, listen, James Wiseman didn't pan out. That was really, I think, who they were hoping was going to be like the big size. So now they don't even have Draymond. I mean, they've talked so much about wanting Draymond back, and Draymond's not size. He's just a good defender, and he is de facto size for them. But they've kind of Looney.
Yeah.
Kevon Looney's the other.
I think the big borderline, Jonathan Kuminga, the young guy they got from G League Ignite, super tall, super athletic.
Yep.
I think they were hoping that he would start to step up. But if you look at the Warriors recently, almost every move they've made, the last 5 or 6 moves, Wiseman, they took number 2 overall, has not worked out. Kuminga has not really worked out. Moses Moody looks like he has talent. He was a first-round pick. Hasn't really worked out.
Well, he's so young.
Signing Jordan Poole, I know, but right, I'm speeding up. Signing Jordan Poole to a $125 million contract seems like a terrible idea. So it feels like they're on a real front office cold streak. And I don't know. I like Chris Paul a lot, but I don't know if this is like the answer to that cold streak.
I don't know if it is either, but this adds a very interesting element here because you had a sense probably that Chris Paul might have had a say in where he wanted to go.
Oh, sure.
And playing in California when his family is in L.A., it was either going to be the Clippers, Lakers, or it was going to be the Warriors. Now, that's the other side. Did the Lakers really want him?
Well, I see Chris Paul would be that's a team that I think could get more out of Chris Paul.
Well, is it the Lakers, or is that a Kyrie Irving destination? Or is Kyrie going to stay in Dallas? And then there's a lot of talk now and chatter on some, various podcasts and basketball insiders that, Kyrie stays in Dallas, Luka's in Dallas. Eventually, LeBron James joins them in Dallas along with Draymond Green. So there's just been a lot of things in the ether. If you listen to, Basketball Illuminati or Simmons or whatever, these are the people who are kind of positioning the Dallas Mavericks in an interesting way. Anyway,
back to Chris Paul for a second.
Yeah,
you have to admit, I think the natural first reaction to that is, well, he's so, that's not what they need necessarily because they have Steph Curry. Obviously, every team could use Chris Paul. He's getting older, but it has to be part of a bigger process or it doesn't totally make sense to me. Why give up that asset and not add size because you're in this really challenging Western Conference right now?
Okay, but as you mentioned, getting off the Poole contract and having to attach a draft pick to do it, getting off of that contract is paramount because the Warriors already were one of the most expensive teams in the league. This new CBA is designed to punish expensive teams, and you haven't even re-signed Draymond yet. And you haven't even made a decision on Klay Thompson yet.
I don't know how many more years would they have to pay Chris Paul. I would hope just one. He gets a ton of money, $230.
Chris Paul, I'm looking at it right now. Now, again, this is Spotrac, 2023-2024 season, partially guaranteed average salary, $30 million. Okay. I know it was $15.8 million guaranteed because they mentioned that the day that he got traded from Phoenix, it was like, well, you just made $15 million. On
top of the $15 million to push him up to 30.
No, you just got guaranteed $15 million as opposed to being waived or bought out.
Okay.
So
I think so. I think he's going to make the full 30 this year because of when they trade him.
I think he's going to end up making the full 30.
So, yeah, I mean, listen. Here's the thing too. Chris Paul is a player who he recently talked in interviews. He has a book out. He's doing interviews. I don't want to be like Charles Barkley, where everyone says he had a great career, but he didn't win a title. So, is this his opportunity to get over that hump?
Well, is this the best one? Like, is joining the Warriors the better opportunity than joining the Lakers or joining the Clippers?
What about the last team, too? It didn't seem like
Phoenix?
You know who really could use a Chris Paul? The Phoenix Suns.
Well, Phoenix can't sign him now. I know. Was in the details that once they traded him, I don't think they can sign him back. I don't know why that was, but it was in the details.
It also seemed like Isaiah Thomas, who is the consultant to the owner in Phoenix, according to Chris Paul, didn't really want him around.
Yes, and that is always a bad idea if you're listening to Isaiah Thomas as a front office executive. Adam Powers is in the chat. YouTube.com/CBS Sports Radio. Golden State Warriors turning into the Olden State Warriors.
That's pretty good.
But nice job.
That's a good dad joke.
Yep, that was solid. Coming in hot.
Is it if we were going to put up a poll question, would it be a fair question to say, does Chris Paul make the Warriors a favorite? Not a favorite in the West. Will this push them over the top to make them a champion? Because I think most people would say no. How would you word that? Like, what's the question there?
Yeah, I think the question is, does Chris Paul, give the Warriors the best chance to win another title? Something like it. We'll workshop that for the Twitter.
Yeah, because I'm curious.
Maggie and Pearl, by the way.
Yeah.
Twitter.
My initial reaction is no. It's not enough. It's got to be part of a bigger plan.
Man, 855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227 if you'd like to react to this big blockbuster trade. Also on the Wizards side of things, can I just mention this really quickly? So they unloaded Bradley Beal. They've unloaded Kristaps Porzingis. They did not get a first-round draft pick for either one of those guys. Those were their top two assets that they had to try to kickstart this rebuild. Did not get a first-round pick. Pick swaps don't count. Did not gain a first-round pick with either of those two guys, which I find interesting. They finally get their first-round pick with this one. They get what was it again? A 2030? Yikes. Yeah.
But they do have
protected first-round pick in 2030 and a second-rounder.
They will have their own top 3 pick next year, for sure.
Well, they're probably hoping that's the Wizards.
Yeah, because they are processing this bad boy. I love that they added Tyus Jones and Jordan Poole. All right, let's add 2 young, talented scoring point guards.
So we can break it all down?
I don't know. No, they're looking in pieces. They're clearly in a full rebuild.
The Tyus Jones, I don't know why Memphis was in a rush to get rid of him.
Well, they needed Marcus Smart to fill in for Dillon Brooks.
No, I get that, but you got, I guess, to fill out the 3-team trade. That at first that trade fell apart last night. It was supposed to be the Clippers. Yeah. And it was supposed to be Malcolm Brogdon who was going to go to the Clippers, not Marcus Smart to Memphis. At the last minute, it fell apart. I went to bed and then wake up and it was Marcus Smart going to Memphis.